I'm here in Llandaff Cathedral to record this cathedral organ, but there's one problem. It's absolutely huge, and recording an organ like this is not going to be easy. I need to decide where to put the microphones to capture this beast of an organ from a close perspective, and also to capture the acoustic down in the nave. This organ, built by Nicholson & Co. in 2010 and finished in 2012, is large by any cathedral standard, not least in this cathedral. Llandaff Cathedral is not a particularly large, spacious, cavernous building like places such as Salisbury and Gloucester, where I've also recorded. The organ is voiced for this building, of course, but it has a very present sound. It can be overwhelming if you're too close to it and if it's not recorded in the right way. Behind me on the south side of the cathedral are the choir and swell division. And up in this corner here is the tuba, and what a tuba it is. Over on the north side of the cathedral sits the great and the solo division. And in these pipes, in the nave side of the case here sits the west nave. So the great actually sits both there and here as well. So it speaks in two directions. Beauty and sound being beauty and sound. I like to do things a bit differently. So I like to have microphones all over the place, which means that when I get home, if there's any that I don't like, I can simply just not use them. So I'm going to have microphones here in the middle of these choir stalls, facing both of these chambers. I'm going to have a microphone over in that direction and in that direction as well. So 4 microphones in that area, and then 4 microphones down in the nave at 2 different perspectives, one near the front of the nave and then one towards the back. Here's the BIS rig, nice and tidily laid out. It won't be tidy in a minute. This is just the audio part of it. The camera equipment is in the organ loft. In these boxes are the various microphones. Let's have a look. Let's start with this box here. So that's all of the XLR cables, audio interface, headphones, and then in this box, various microphones and some lighting stands. These Manfrotto stands here are the tallest microphone stands that I could basically find. They go up to 7.3 meters, and that's about 23 feet in the air. As a single unit, I think these are the tallest ones you can get, which is very useful for recording high organs like this. Also very useful is one of these audio cable snakes. These extend the XLR cables, which when you're working in big cathedrals and you've got the microphones all the way at the back, my XLRs in there often not long enough, so I have to use this extender, which works very well. I've actually laid out the microphones here for the first time. It starts with these Neumann KM184s. These are my favorite microphones. These are great workhorses. Cardioid, and over the years, as I've got used to using them, I actually find that these guys respond really, really well to being close to the audio source, whether that would be a piano or a violin or whatever. In this case, an organ. So I'm not afraid of putting these only a few meters away from the pipes. In the mix, they sound really good. These are the Beyerdynamics MC930s, and these are basically just a cheaper version of the Neumanns, but in my experience do a very good job. The reason they're covered in tape is because of these stands here are too big and they kept falling out. These are the TLM 104s. They're multi-directional microphones, so you can choose between all of those patterns on the back there. These are the absolute bee's knees, the Neumann TLM 170s. Again, multi-patterned microphones. So these go in the absolute sweet spot of the organ, where the organ sounds at its very best. I want the best microphones in the best place. Okay, well, I've got the microphones in place now. So let's start at the back and let's walk through why I've placed them where I have. So at the back of the nave, you can see how far back we are. There's the west window. The very back of the nave, we have these Neumann TLM 170 microphones. These are placed in omnidirectional sound, which obviously means it's catching the sound from omnidirections, both that way and that way, 360 degrees, essentially capturing the acoustic and the building, the ambience. Moving forwards a little bit, we arrive at the Neumann TLM 107s. These are my favorite microphones and most expensive. But I always put these in the organ's sweet spot, where the organ sounds most refined, most balanced, and ideally where you'd sit for an organ recital. So this is where they are in context to the cathedral. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows from the front. And actually, we are fairly close to the pipes here. Moving forwards, we now have the close perspective microphones. So the Neumann KM184s, these are cardioid microphones. The TLM 107s are in cardioid direction as well. So they're pointing forwards, capturing the sounds coming at them from the pipes rather than from behind them. Got a little Neumann here pointing up there, which is the tuba. I know how much you guys like a tuba, and I like to make the tubas sound as epic as possible. You are in for a treat, I'm sure, because this tuba is insane. There's an orchestral trumpet up there, and the solo division and the West Great. I've got another Neumann KM184 going up there to capture that sound. And then that takes us into the choir itself. So in between the organ cases, and they are quite a thing. They're really high and they dominate this, the architecture almost in this space. They go all the way up to the ceiling. So these are also the Neumanns. These are the cardioid 184s, again, facing in each direction to capture the close sound. There were some pipes over here as well, which I haven't put a microphone in front of. I could have put some more cardioids in front of these, but and the reason why I haven't is because behind there are the pedal bombards, and I should say that in the building, the pedal bombards are rather extravagant. Basically, they're loud, and I think they don't need a microphone. But then I've put a microphone in front of the tuba, so I don't know. I suspect that this particular microphone here will pick up some of the pedal bombard through what's called a bit of microphone bleeding. Everything is now plugged in. The computer is recording. The last thing that we need to do now is a sound test. So let's head up to the organ loft and play some chords to make sure it sounds as good as it possibly can.